in terms of the bias, I'll focus it on framing. And framing is essentially however we frame a situation, set it up, affects what we think of it so much more. So if you frame something like you set the criteria for an event or a conversation, that changes what people think going into it. It then changes what they will decide. It's one of the most powerful things that you can do, right? Imagine you're going to a party and someone tells you this is going to be the craziest, most exciting party you've ever been to. Like the coolest people in the whole city are here. It's going to blow your mind. And you get there and there's like 15 people in a living room. You're going to be like, wow, dude. On the other hand, they say, hey, it's just like a little get together with a few friends. It's just like a small thing. It would be cool if you come. We're just going to be kind of talking and hanging out. And you get there and it's like 15 people. You're like, this is a pretty good like hangout, right? Based on the initial framing of it, right? The setting of the expectations with it. And I was thinking about this, say with taking the North American view on work. And this is not true like across North America, each individual family, but I think in many cases, needing to work hard, especially in your 20s and 30s, like if you can't make it to a parent's birthday party because you're like, yeah, I have tons of work, I'm getting ahead, I'm trying to get my future, that's acceptable. It's like your mom or dad will be disappointed, but that's like good. Oh, my son is so hardworking, right? And that is what is the frame, if you will, of the society. The frame is it's important to work hard and be successful, and it's okay to occasionally sacrifice relationships. Maybe you don't see your friends that much in your 30s because you're working really hard. And like, that's okay because it's important to succeed and get ahead and blah, 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 right? And if that's everyone around you, and you start telling them, hey, I saw this weird Dan guy on the internet who like doesn't have his phone on usually until 2 p.m. and like travels a lot. And, some days works really hard, but some days works like 4 hours and whatever, and tells me I should do stuff that I actually love doing. In the frame of, say, typical American or Canadian society, you're going to get some weird looks. People might like see it as, oh, is this like, dude, you're trying to be lazy. You're trying to like get out of your responsibilities. You're whatever it is, right? Imagine, and I'm sure this exists somewhere in the world, but I'm just making an imaginary one. Like you had a village where just the values of that village was that relationships, friendships, and family come first. That anyone who works more than 4 hours a day is a lunatic. Like they're insane. And that anyone who tries to have more financial success than other people is, something's off with them, whatever it is, right? So imagine like you'd be in the same scenario reversed. Like if you were born in that society and you were an ENTJ and you're like, you know what, I want to go work 10-hour days and I want to get ahead and I want to be successful. I can't make it to grandma's birthday because I've got like an important meeting. You'd be shunned. You'd be like looked at as, what are you doing? What's wrong with this person, right? And actually, I'm fairly sure there are some subcultures I can think of in that are that way, or some cultures that are that way. But so it's very much about the social norms around us. Like framing can affect how we get stuck and make decisions in many, many ways. But the way that I'm thinking is kind of a novel way to look at it is just how our entire culture sets a frame that we then make the decisions from, right? Another example would be with marriage or relationships, right? If the frame is, and this is the frame in most places, like that a breakup is always negative. Oh, they broke up. Oh, it's such a shame. They had 3 years together. Like they invested 3 years into that relationship. Such a shame. Or a couple gets divorced. Maybe even after like having children and raising great kids, and then the kids move out and the couple's like, the dude wants to golf and the woman wants to move to India and teach yoga. And they're like, cool, like love you too. Bye. Like let's part ways, right? That would be seen as a failure. But staying together, bitter, having sex once every 3 years, just barely talking, is generally considered like not a success. No one's saying like, good job, guys, like that's a happy marriage. But the frame is, wow, like, wow, your parents were married 50 years, that's amazing. They stayed together. And like, there are these gem couples. Like I do know some who were married that long and like loved each other all the way. And when you meet those people, you ask them everything you can, right? Like, I have someone in my extended family that way, and I'm like, you're the only one who gives me relationship advice. But for most people, like when they tell you their parents have been together 40 years or a long time, and you say, oh, that's great, they always sort of say, you haven't met them. Like, they probably should have got divorced or something, right? So it's that frame. You frame relationships as being about growth and connection and the experience in the moment? Or are they about security? Or are they about status and what people think? Which, for a huge part of human history, that was most of the part of relationships. Families married their children off before they hit puberty so that they could like bond the families or increase, like, they didn't actually usually marry them before puberty, but like they set the partner, okay, my daughter will marry your son in 20 years and all this stuff, right? So it's like, what is a marriage? What is a relationship? What is it? And this is where it becomes really important. And this is like a significant part of this mystery book, is to then figure out like your values and your map. So you're not a victim to the random town or society or culture you grew up in that might have values that aren't aligned with yours, and therefore set the frame of how your life is. So it's like, set your own values first, and then from that you can set your frame and then make better decisions for what you want, which might involve some kind of a life change. So if you've made it this far to the end, if you have a like personal story about it, how it's affected you or anything like that, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. I do read every comment and usually reply as well. If I don't reply, it's often because I just have nothing to add, or you've shared like a great long story and, I'll just give it a like. So would love to hear your comments below, and catch you in the next episode soon.